Hello. Welcome to DNA Hardwired. Common sense turned upside down. My name is Pop, and with me is my co-host, Jackie. Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode on DNA Hardwired. Common sense turned upside down. What we're going to do today is we're going to continue talking about politics, Donald Trump's election, and some few other topics dealing with current events. I'd like to strongly encourage the listeners to listen to the previous episodes we've had on politics, so that you can kind of be up to speed on what we've been talking about in the past. Any initial thoughts, Brother Jackie?
Not on some of the things we've gone over in the past.
Okay.
It's just a continued run down this lane that we're in right now.
Okay. Yeah. And I wanna make sure that in case the folks don't listen to the previous episodes, I want to make sure that folks understand that we're really not trying to reach the Trump voters and the Trump supporters. Those folks, as far as I'm concerned, they're locked in. They know what the assignment is, and so we're not talking to them. We're not going to change their mind. Really, what we're trying to do is reach those 40% of eligible voters who didn't vote in the last election, and hopefully they'll wake up and see what's going on, and in the midterms they'll go ahead and vote. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue here. Last week I talked about whether racism had played a role in American politics, and so I'm not sure if you had listened to that episode or not, Jackie, but that's okay. We'll just briefly talk a little bit about it, do a little follow up. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that racism has existed in the past in politics?
Yeah, I absolutely do. When you make legislation, let's go back to certain events like Red Line and keeping certain demographics out of the areas that move the needle, i.e. finance, but banking and finance, entrepreneurship. Go down through history, look at Black Wall Street. Now, granted, these are way back in the day, but I think the sentiment for that mindset, to a degree, still exists. Like, if we control the dollars that flow in and out of your community, we can control your community. If we can control the level of knowledge you have, education-wise, we can limit how high your community rises. And so, let's say, and some may say it's not racism, but there's it's classism, or it's one of these other isms that's sitting out there that keeps another demographic's mindset in that space to where they where they feel they have to hold,
and that demographic
another race back,
brother. That demographic just happens to be black and other minorities. But go ahead.
No. I'm talking about the demographic of the community that wants to hold another community down.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So that's what I'm referring to. When you go out of your way to enact legislation or to enact or have actions.
Yeah, but it's for specific. But what I'm saying though is that legislation is specifically targeted though. That's my point. Of course, it's racist.
No, exactly.
Yeah. But go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. It's specifically targeted.
Yes.
But I say, when you look at other communities, some communities don't care who's in office. It doesn't change what they have to do. I think we're one of the only few communities that there's been a focused effort on keeping us down for a while. Now it's almost to a point I don't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything. They sit back and watch the fruits of their labor at this point.
Yeah. 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 And that is
because it's so ingrained in us. It's so ingrained in us.
Yeah. 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 And I think one of the techniques that's been used, one of the strategies that has been used, and is being used even more so today, is that we've been turned against ourselves. So
that's why I say they don't. The acts of the past, those acts are not on the table today because they don't need to be.
Yeah, yeah.
We have become our own worst enemy.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
So when you see like a Jasmine Crockett that stepped outside of that, and this is not a political argument on this one. Whether you have a Democrat or Republican that's black that stepped out of the community, stepped out of the hood per se, and they've elevated. Well, no matter what side of the table you sit, they've had to go against so much within our community to get to that point, and they still have to go against our community because the community is going to look at that person as, oh, you forgot us, or you changed to get to where you are. So they don't have to do what was done back in the day. Run through your neighborhood at night with hoodies on, burning crosses in your yard. They don't have to do none of that has to be done today.
Yeah, yeah, and that brings me to a point where, I've got friends who every now and then they'll send me some of these YouTube videos, TikTok videos, and so on. And they know me. They know I'll get a little bit, I use the term passionate sometimes. And so I don't know if they send me some of these videos to kind of stir me up a little bit, or if they're sending these videos just to see my reaction. I don't know. But some of the videos that I've been receiving, and from both black and white friends, and relatives, deal with, and typically they're black folks. They're doing these little clips, and they're talking about, like one of the latest ones I just received this week was from a cousin, and it was a young fella, young black man, 30s, 40s, I guess, and he was talking about how, why folk didn't vote for Kamala Harris, and one of the things he talked about, he referenced, was she was asked the question, well, what are you going to do for, specifically, what are you going to do for black people? Now, the commentator, the person asking the question, they knew that this was a trick bag question, right? In a way, for a dummy, it was a trick bag question. But Kamala, to me, she was too smart for that. So her response is a response that I think most reasonable, educated people would have given. So her response was, well, whatever I do for black people or white people or Hispanic people, all people are going to benefit. I'm not specifically looking at targeting what I'm going to do for a specific race. I'm targeting the people of America. That was her response. And do you know this young black fella? He found that was a problem with that response from her. It's like, well, and then he threw Barack in there, Barack Obama, and same thing. He was asked that question too. He was a smart man, gave the same kind of response. And so we've got these young black folk out here. And what I did was I went a little deeper to see some of the responses to what this young fella was saying. And it just amazed me at how many other black folk out there are getting on board with this type of mentality. Why would a president say, I'm going to do this specific thing for this specific race? I mean, just imagine how outraged we would be if Donald Trump was
if they
asked
did with
that
Trump.
question, yeah,
Ask that
if
question.
they asked that question, Donald Trump, Mr. Trump, President Trump, what are you going to do for us white folks? Do you imagine? Can you now with his butt? I hope somebody do ask him that question, because with his dumb
Because
ass,
he's gonna
he'll
give an
answer
answer.
it. He'll
He's gonna give
answer
an
it.
answer.
He gonna give you an answer, because that's the type. He's a racist, and he is gonna do stuff for white folk that he gonna not do for other folk. He's doing it now. But anyway, sorry, I got a little bit off track there. But yeah, I think we're getting to be some of our own worst enemies. We're turning on ourselves, and so like I said, this young fella that did that video, to me, it was either AI generated. He did it because he was just trying to get some hits, get some likes, right? So he wasn't really sincere about what he was saying. He knew it was going to upset some people. Or three, he was serious. He truly, and I know that there's people out there like that. They seriously believe that the answer to that question should have been, well, this is what I'm going to do for black people, and I'm not going to do that for white people though, but I'm going to do this for black people. There's some people out there that sincerely feel that way. So I don't know what that person's motivation was, but this is my thing. No matter what his motivation was, I could care less. My problem is with the people who are following him and believe that bullshit. That's my problem. The people that don't have enough intelligence to see through that kind of thought process. But anyway, go ahead, brother.
No, that's my issue. To believe that you ask by asking whether you ask Barack Obama or Kamala Harris what they're going to do for black people, you're not reading the room and you don't understand the system that they're in. That's a trick bag question.
Yes.
No matter matter of fact, no matter how that question is answered, it's the wrong answer for one side or the other.
Yes. Unless, like I said, I truly think that the answer that Barack and Kamala gave, it was the right answer. I mean, that was the right.
This is my point.
Yeah, I'm going to represent.
The correct answer.
I'm going to represent
the black community that wanted a different answer. That's the wrong answer.
I got you. I hear you.
So it doesn't matter who answers no matter how they answer that question.
I got
it's going to be wrong for one side or another.
Yeah, I got you.
That's why I say that's a trick bag. They can never give the right answer.
Right.
Because let's say they said they're going to do this, that, and other for black people. Now, white people and every other demographic out there got a problem with that answer.
Rightly so. Rightly so.
Exactly. Rightly so. But for you to ask either politician what they're going to do, is you're not understanding this. Matter of fact, you're dumbing the position down as well.
Yes. So okay, so we agree. So we agree that in our past, in our political past history, racism has played a role. Would you say that today, in today's political climate, would you say that racism is still out there in politics?
Now this is where sometimes my conversation changes. Do I believe it's there in certain areas? Yes.
Now, when you say in certain areas, give me an example.
What I mean, do I believe that there maybe do I believe that the underlying theme of some of this stuff is racially based? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
My issue is the fact that I know it. Let's say I know it, and I know it's there. I'm not tasked to overcome that, as opposed to letting that be the reason why I don't continue to push and fight to get past, to overcome, to get over the hump or to get over the hill. That's my issue. I can no longer use that as the reason why I'm not making it.
Yeah,
I gotta fight through it as opposed to.
I get you. I get you now, and I've heard you state this before, and I get you. I understand that, but see, I'm kind of simple. I'm kind of simple-minded in a lot of ways. So let's stop and let's back up a minute, cause the original question was, do you believe?
What I think.
Yeah, that there's racism, and your answer was yes. I think your answer was yes, but then we moved on, and you said, but that's no reason for us to allow that to hold us back. I think that's what you were saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, and I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree, and it doesn't even matter whether we're talking about blacks, other minorities, or women, or whatever, or whether we're talking about racism. I think that we shouldn't allow anything that we can control to hold us back. So I definitely agree with that. But I also think that there's sometimes, I think that there's sometimes and that's where the Civil Rights Act came into play, and some of these other legislations came into place to help minorities. That's to include women. That's to include the disabled, the handicapped, and all those other people, which includes all of us. And that's something people don't think about when they think about affirmative action, when they think about DEI programs. They don't understand that there's white males out there that also benefit from these programs. When you say DEI or you say affirmative action, what color do people immediately see? Somebody of color.
They're associated with black. Matter of fact, they typically, watch this, they typically associate with black women.
A lot of times, yes.
Because there's two minorities that they're killing off with one stone.
Yeah.
There's two demographics. That's black and a woman.
Yeah. But so sometimes, even though we don't want to allow certain racism to hold us back, sometimes it can, though. And like I said, I'm not trying. I mean, if you're a minority, a black person, and this is stuff that's typically well known in the past, have happened in the past, but it happens today even more subtly, though. When you submit your in the old days, at least, and when I say old days, I don't mean that far gone, but you submit your resume, and your name is LaShawn Johnson.
Right. They know you're black. You know you're black.
Yeah. Tawania Brown. I mean, look, just looking at that resume, you see what I'm saying?
When you put the lug, when you put the should, the lug, the tug.
Yeah. See, some of that stuff still, I don't think it's as blatant today. But some of that stuff still goes on. So I think I just saw somewhere where the president has removed all references to slavery. He just removed that from somewhere. Just this past week. So he's been doing stuff along the way, all along. Now, if that's not racially motivated, I mean, he singled out, slaves. Those, as far as I know, they were black people. So he's removing references to that demographics. I don't know what you call that. I mean, I don't know.
Let me put a wrinkle into this.
Okay.
And I get slavery is a part of American history, part of this country's history.
Right.
Obviously, it's a part of our history. Now, my issue with us in slavery, no one alive owned slaves, and no one alive has been a slave in this country. And you may come from another part of the world, and that may still be going on, which in some places it does. My issue is, we still continue to use that as a crutch for why we don't get ahead. Now, and we can say, let's say Trump is racist.
Right.
Now, with him removing this, is he saying that it's a smear on American history, so we need to wipe it off the books? Or is he saying, why do we continue to focus on this? Why not start today and say, what do we need to do going forward to get ahead as a country, or better yet, as black people?
Let me ask you a question. So let me ask you a question. Prior to Donald Trump's re-election, prior to that, under the Biden administration, previous blah blah blah, going back a little bit, me personally, maybe I've been in the dark, But I haven't heard slavery being used as an issue. I mean, the black museums all over the place, blah blah blah. I mean, me and my family, we went to visit in D.C. a few years ago. No big deal. I mean, it's part of our history. You know, people go to museums all the time, and you know, they look at our history. It's there. I don't hear people talk about removing stuff dealing with the Egyptians and you know some of our. Why are we talking about removing stuff concerning slavery? Now, in answer to your question, whether he's removing it because of racism or whether he's removing it because there's a constant people constantly remind. If he's removing it from racism, that's definitely a no. If he's removing it because people are constantly reminded and talking about it, it's history. It's still history. It's still history. You know, and so for me, for me personally, like I say, maybe you're different, but for me personally, prior to Trump, slavery was not a part of my day-to-day life or month-to-month life or even year-to-year life. I don't know prior to Trump if I even used the word slavery in my recent time. I had no reason to. Nobody was reminding me of it. Nobody was bringing it up. Trump is doing this right now in his administration, as far as what I can see. You know.
Why do you think he's why do you think he's doing it?
He's a racist and he's trying to undo history. He's not. This man is not. In a way, Trump is very smart in a con man sort of way. To me, I have to give him credit. As far as a con man goes, he's at the head of his game. He's at the head. As far as a con man.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
2025. With everything that's been about history is actually documented. Is actually you go out there and you don't even have to read books on slavery at this point. Everything that's out there. Everything is out there somewhere. So, can he effectively erase it?
Can he effectively erase it?
Yes.
Effectively, no, but he's too stupid to know that. Yeah, effectively, he can't. I'll tell you something, brother.
So
go ahead.
So he's trying to erase it. He's trying to eliminate it from being taught in schools.
Yes. You haven't you heard the types of books that he's?
No.
Go ahead.
Yes, there's certain books out there that he wants removed from school.
Yes. And a lot of those books deals with racism.
Let's say that does happen.
Okay.
What's the negative effect that would have on our community?
What's the negative effect that would have on our community?
If figure out a way to remove the teaching of slavery out of schools, what's the negative effect that would have on our community?
I don't. Well, let me put it this way. Let me ask you this question then. I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm gonna give you an answer. If there's not a negative effect of removing that part of our history, why don't we just remove all of our history? What would be the negative effect of that? I mean, let me ask you this question. Would you say that? Let me finish. Would you say that slavery? Would you say that slavery was a major part of American history?
A major part.
A major. Would you say yes or no? Would you say that slavery has been a major part of our history? Yes or no?
Wow.
I know.
That's a slippery slope question.
No, that's not slippery. It's very simple. To me, it's very simple. Either you believe that slavery, not a positive way or negative way. Do you believe that slavery
was it a major part of our history?
Yes, slavery.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, Jackie, just say it, brother. I know it's hard, but just say it. How can you not say
when I
it?
look at when I hold up when I look at the length of time that this country's been in existence, I would have to say no. But for us, the way it impacts us, yes, it's a
No, no,
major part
no, no,
for
not
us.
just blacks. No, no, no. That's not limited to blacks. That's limited to this country. All of the people, people of this country. I'm not just talking about blacks and how slavery impacted blacks.
Okay. You know what? Let me take that back. Was slavery a major part of American history?
Yes,
Absolutely. I take
yes.
that back
That's
because
all I'm saying,
let
brother.
me tell you why. Let me tell you why I just said it.
Okay.
Because we fought a war.
What?
We fought a war called the Civil War.
What did
So
you just say?
I wasn't even thinking about that. So
The
you're right.
only
But
time in
slavery
our
was
history,
a major
brother,
part.
the only time in our
I know
history,
that.
brother and brother
Okay.
fought against each other. Only time in our history.
Yes.
So we're supposed to remove that from our history books? What kind of
See,
person
this
what
this
what what kind of
this
person what kind of person would say we need to remove that from our history?
this is the reason why I can't see him ever removing it.
No, I
Because
don't think he
if you
will.
take out if watch this, if you take out slavery, you got to take out the Civil War.
What? What'd you say? What'd
If
you
you
say?
take out slavery, you have to take out the
What'd you say?
Civil War.
See, here's my problem though, brother. Here's my problem with the damage that he is doing. These young folk that we got coming up now, if he's actually able to successfully, which he's doing, if he's actually able to successfully remove certain parts of our history dealing with slavery, so on and so on and so on, these young folk coming up, there's going to be a gap with them. Matter of fact, right now, I guarantee you, I got some grandkids. I got some grandkids. They're in their 20s, but I got some grandkids. If I ask them certain questions about slavery and so on, and now they're in their 20s, I guarantee you they're going to look at me like a damn deer in looking in the headlights. And they're alive now. They're in their 20s. Imagine what's happening to these young newborn babies and these 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds. What are they going to know? You see what I'm saying? That's why it's important. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not just thinking about today and next year. I'm going to be gone here. I don't know. I don't expect to be around here forever. So I'm going to be gone. It's not going to affect me. It's not even going to affect my kids, per se. They're old enough. They're going to be gone too. But now their kids and their kids' kids and their kids' kids, if this man is able or other people are able to mess with history like that, what is that going to do for them? Now, you asked a question earlier. Well, what harm is it going to be in the long run? 100 years from now, 200 years from now, if we don't know anything about slavery and what happened, I don't know what harm it would do. I don't know if people will fall over dead because they didn't know this information. I don't know. But all I know, this is what I do know. We talking about stuff from the Bible. we having arguments, discussions, disputes about stuff in the Bible from the beginning. Wait a minute. If slavery, if we can't talk about slavery, which has been a few hundred years, why are we talking about thousands of years ago? We talking about pre-dinosaur, and wait a minute. So why are we concerned about taking slavery out? What's that all about? But anyway, brother, I didn't mean to kind of get off on that.
No.
No,
you're right.
Yeah. But
you're right.
So we gotta stop living. You know what? A lot of us are living in our own little small narrow world, and we're narrow-minded. We need to because I'll tell you what, that brother Trump and a lot of them Republicans, I gotta give them credit. Those fellas, we're going to talk a little bit about the government shutdown, and I'll get a little bit more into that. But these fellas are smart. Let's talk about that real quick here. The government shutdown. What are your thoughts? And I'm showing you how smart these guys are, and women too. What are your thoughts on the government shutdown?
Well, us being, I guess, us being in and around the military, this happens all the time anyway. So I'm not shocked that the government shut down. Now, where I'm living in the dark on, and I just started listening to some information today regarding why the government is shut down. It all comes down to a budget issue, obviously. And my understanding that this shutdown, and every other year, we know it happens.
Right.
You've been in and around the federal government, in and around the military. You know, government shuts down every other year there.
Or there's at least a threat of it.
That may last a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, but there's at least
one in history lasted 37 days.
Yeah, there's at least a threat of it. There's at least a threat of it. We actually haven't had that many government shutdowns.
Every year.
Yeah, but every year we do. There's a
year.
threat. As long as I've been in civil service, there's always a threat of it.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. That's the threat of a government shutdown every year if you're around the military.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
And so, this one right here, my understanding, the holdup at this one is the Republicans are pushing back on the Democrats wanting to give illegal immigrants health care benefits.
Right.
That's what I'm starting to hear.
Right.
And so my question would be, that shouldn't even be a government shutdown. That shouldn't even be an issue. Technically. Why are we giving people in this country that shouldn't be here health care benefits?
Good question.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them. I don't agree because
let me stop you. Let me stop you right there. But brother, I'm gonna help you answer that question. Hold on, help you answer that question. You're gonna answer that question for yourself. Now, here we go. Are we giving free health care to illegals?
That's my understanding what they're fighting for.
All right, so let's hold on a minute. That's not the question. That's not the question. It's not what that's not just. Hold up a minute. Hold up a minute. Let me finish. We're gonna get there. The question is, are we giving health care to illegals? That's the question. It's not about your understanding. It's about what do you know? Do you know that we are giving? Huh?
I don't.
Well, I'm telling you. Let me tell you. No, we are not giving health care to illegals except, okay, this is one of your, what did you call an asterisk? This is one of your asterisks. Except, and this not only apply to so-called illegals or undocumented, this applies to any human being. Any human being, or a dog for that matter. If they go into just think about that. If a dog happens to go into an emergency room, his leg is hanging off. What do you think that hospital will do to that dog?
They're gonna cut it off.
They're gonna do something. Look. They're gonna do something. Now they may call the animal society. But they're not just gonna tell that dog, get the hell out of here. So that's when let me lower my voice. I hear myself yelling. But that's when illegals get health care. If they go to an emergency facility and there is an emergency situation, they will be treated. Now, do you have a problem with that?
No.
Okay. All right. So we're good. We're good there. Now, if a undocumented or illegal, people like to use that word, if they go into that same hospital, they don't go into the emergency room. Let's just say they're going in there for some routine. They got just a cold, their arm aching, they got shoulder problems. They just go in there for that. They're not going to get health care if they're illegal, if they don't have health coverage. I mean,
hold on.
Don't take my word for it.
Don't emergency rooms have to? If you show up at the emergency room, they have to see you.
They see you, but they don't have to treat you. Of course, they're going to see you. Look, Jackie.
Don't they have to treat you if it's an emergency?
If it's an emergency, the things I cited wasn't an emergency. I said if you go in there, you got a cough, your knee hurting you, your shoulder hurting you, you got a tummy ache, you just want a yearly physical.
Okay.
Those aren't emergencies. You got what I'm saying? Those aren't emergencies. But that's what the Republicans. That's why I say they're smart. They are smart. Look, brother. You are a smart man. I know you. I've known you for years. You're a smart man. You and I are going back and forth on this discussion, and you're a smart man. Now imagine the people that aren't all that bright, and these Republicans are feeding them that bullshit. They're going to swallow it. It's just going to go down just as smooth as molasses. You hear what I'm saying? But the truth, if you dig into the truth, what you will find out is that's a bogus argument. Actually, what they're really trying to do, Jackie, here's what they're really trying to do. They are really trying to do away with health care for you and me. That's really what they're trying to do. They've decimated Obamacare. Obamacare is just going along, just limping along. They're trying to do that final blow on Obamacare. That's really what they're trying to do. And this thing here called this CR, let me talk a little bit about this CR, which ties into what we're talking about, which is this continuing resolution. Okay.
It's almost like a status quo continuing resolution. That's what it comes out like. It's a status. We're gonna continue to funding
So
this year like we funded last year.
Yeah. So this really ties into who's really responsible for this government shutdown. So the Republicans, they're blaming the Democrats. They say that all the Democrats have to do is just approve the clean CR, right? Which is the clean continuing resolution, and the government can reopen, and then they can discuss any required changes to the CR. I mean, really, because after all, we know the Republicans, they've proven to be very honorable and trustworthy, right? So all we need to do is sign this thing, and we can work out the details later. Well, let me just share some historical facts about CRs. So a little bit of history here. History is important. Congress has passed 138 CRs since 1998. They've passed 138. That's about an average of 5 per year. In a single fiscal year, there can be multiple short-term CRs before a full year funding agreement is reached. Right? Typical, very typical. Mm-hmm. It's also very typical for a continuing resolution to have changes made before it passes. Again, we'll talk about this so-called clean CR, right? Congress and the White House frequently negotiate new provisions, which this Congress, they refuse, and the White House, they refuse to do that. They refuse to sit down, negotiate, and talk about this present CR and making changes to it. So I did some research because I was, I try to research everything. They're talking about this clean CR. I did a lot of research, and I couldn't find the term clean CR mentioned prior to this year's CR. I couldn't find it anywhere. So what's happened is, the Republicans, they've created this new norm, right? This new norm for this administration. They attempt to change things that's been accepted and has been a normal practice in governing. I really think they do it, and it starts at the top. I think they do it because they don't know how to govern, and so what they do is they resort to authoritarian methods to run this country. So do your research yourself, folks. Do your research yourself. Look up clean CR, and prior to this administration, prior to this latest CR, see how many times you see clean CR mentioned. You're not going to find it. This is a new term that they've came up with to bullshit us, because there's no such thing as a clean CR. There's no such thing. They want what was in that last CR that they keep saying, well, the Democrats agreed to the last CR, and they did. They did agree to it. But what was in that last CR was that when it came time for this current CR to end, if there weren't some changes made to it, some folk gonna end up losing their health care, right? And that's what the Democrats are trying to stop from happening, and that's what the Republicans are trying to let happen. They want you and me to lose our health care. They could give a damn about illegals or undocumented, because they know they're not receiving free health care. They already know that. So we need to stop being foolish and falling for the damn rope-a-dope from these people. These Republicans right now, starting with Donald Trump, and he's a businessman. That's what we wanted. And I hate to put this label on all business people because it's not on all business people, but a lot of them, with Donald Trump for sure, he's a liar. We know he's a liar. He's you can't trust his word. And now what's happened, we found that the Republicans in the past, the party, didn't used to be like that. But it looked like they're following suit with Donald Trump right now. I mean, hell, at one time, the vice president, J.D. Vance, look it up. J.D. Vance actually called Trump Hitler. He called him Hitler. And now he's the vice president to this man. This is where we're at right now, people. Don't be falling for the rope-a-dope. This thing with the government shutdown, they can say it as many times as they want to. It doesn't make it true. The Democrats is responsible for the shutdown. They can say it as many times as they want to. It doesn't make it true. Do your research, folks, and find out for yourself who's responsible. I'm sorry, Brother Jackie. Go ahead. You got any comments?
No, I don't have any. I don't have any comments regarding that, because some of this I'm still in the dark on. I do understand what the continuing resolution is.
Of course you do. Like you say, you spent 30 years. You spent 30 years in the government. You know about it. So I said you know about it. You done spent 30 years.
Because every year they'll come down and say if there's questions about the budget.
Right.
If it's getting close to that line, they'll say, okay, for right now, we just gonna continue. They're gonna continue funding that the way they did last year.
Yes.
That's how you know. That's the continuing resolution.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But there's changes to it.
The pieces of this thing that they're pushing back on. I hadn't heard anything because I hadn't really been paying attention. Really.
Well, yeah.
And matter of fact, my conversation with you was recently regarding continuing resolution. I didn't know that was the issue.
And brother,
I did not know that.
And brother, you're normal. You're average, just like everybody else. Most of us, and the only reason I'm paying attention to it is because I want to be a little bit smart about these podcasts. I want to try to give out as much accurate information as I can. And truthfully, that's the only reason I'm talking about it. And that's the only reason I know about it is because I did some research, only because I was going to do this podcast. And I want to make sure that people had a good information. I mean, the average person, we don't have enough time to be just sitting around digging deep into all this stuff, but we're gonna have to learn how to if we don't want to be taken advantage of and see this country.
No, we have to.
We're gonna have to.
We got to do our due diligence between getting off work and going to bed between 5 and 9, 5 and 10, 5 and 11 at night.
Yes, it used to be we could do that because we had people in office that was looking out for our welfare. It used to be that way. Now, brother, I'm telling you, I mean, as recent as a year ago, my daughter, she was talking to me, when President Trump got elected, she was really concerned, And I'm thinking, what the hell's wrong with this girl? I mean, our government's been ticking along for a few hundred years. We've been doing all right. We've had some good presidents. We've had some bad presidents. Shit, we had Trump for president a little time ago. And we made it through okay. He can't do, but there are too many guardrails. We can't do. Brother, I'm telling you.
I think to a degree, I think he wants some of those guardrails down, though. And I say that.
Brother,
that's what I'm seeing. I believe he wants some of them guardrails taken down.
Yeah, but I'm feeling a little bit of that angst that my daughter was feeling a year ago right now. I'm feeling some of it right now because I've seen a lot of, I always thought that Supreme Court, when stuff got to the Supreme Court, I thought that, hey, look, things going to be okay. But then when the Supreme Court said in California, it was okay. And if it was in California, it could happen all over. But it was okay for these ICE agents and other authorities to stop someone because they looked like they're Mexican, or they were speaking Spanish, or they were hanging out at Home Depot. That's all they needed. They didn't need anything else. That's all they needed to say, this person, there's a good chance they could be illegal. That's crazy, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
With the company I work for, sometimes we need some manual labor stuff done. And a lot of times I jump in and do it, get a couple of guys, and we'll go do it. But one day, my coworkers had said, "Well, we can go out there to Home Depot and talked to some day laborers.
Right.
I said, you lying to me? They're not out there at all right now.
I'm telling you.
They're not out there at all.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, in my neighborhood, it was very common Monday through Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, but Monday through Saturday, it was very common to see 1, 2, or 3 of my neighbors getting their yards worked on by day laborers, right? This year, once in every blue moon, once in every blue moon, I see somebody out there risking it. Once in every blue moon. But yeah.
I guarantee you, they're not being picked up at Home Depot and Lowe's. I promise you that.
No, I agree with you. I tell you what, brother, I'm going to cover one more thing, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day. Have you heard of something called crypto ATMs?
I've heard of them. Yes.
Yeah, crypto ATM.
Yes.
So here we go. Old as I am, I'm learning something every day. I never heard of crypto ATMs until this week. Never heard of them until this week. There was a segment on CNN that was talking about them. It's a very scary scam, and normally they're placed in places like a Circle K or something like that. So CNN did a segment on these crypto ATMs, and they're supposed to be legitimate. For the most part, there is some part of it that is legitimate. Otherwise, Circle K, I'm sure, wouldn't allow them to be placed in there. But there's a large part of this crypto ATM thing that's a scam. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. So what happens with these crypto ATMs, a lot of them, there's an element, a criminal element, that's taking people's money. So what happens is these people, they're usually through a phone call or some method, email, they're directed to these crypto ATMs, and they're directed to put money in those machines. Now, brother, yes, when I say put money into those machines, I'm not talking about a few $100s or a couple thousand. There's people that's put as much as $25,000 in those machines. Cash. One lady, she was in her 60s probably. She's standing there putting money into this machine. And so evidently one of the clerks, because they know about these machines, so do the police. But this was up in Prescott, Arizona. So they called the police to try to stop this lady from putting money in that machine. The police came there, brother, and the cop is standing there. It's on video. The cop is standing there. He's telling this lady, ma'am, please stop doing that. It's a scam. They're ripping you off. Now, this is a police officer in full uniform telling this lady. And do you know what she told this man? No, it's not a scam. And she continued to put her money in that machine. There was another guy. His name is Gus. It was $15,000 for Gus. He was on the phone with one of these scammers. And so supposedly the scammer was the president of a bank. And so Gus was a little bit suspicious. He was 70 years old. He'd been around a little while. So Gus asked the president of this bank, supposed president, he said, hey, you're not ripping me off, are you? So the president said, no, Gus, we wouldn't rip you off. And so Gus asked the president, do you promise you're not ripping me off? So what the president said of this so-called bank, the president said, of course not, Gus. No, we're not ripping you off. And so you know what happened? Gus went ahead and gave that man that money and got ripped off. So they went to court. Gus was able to get his money back, $15,000. But do you know what these crypto ATM people did? They went back to court and they were able to get that $15,000 back. And the way they did it was because Gus was being so smart that when he was giving them this money, they were telling Gus, there's a strong possibility this might be a scam. And Gus went ahead and still gave him the money. So just a word to the wise folks out there, be conscious, be aware of these crypto ATMs. Please don't be putting your money in that scam. Any comments on that, brother?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
We when I was a stockbroker, I used to tell my clients, I said, no matter what I say, no one cares about your money more than you do.
Exactly.
So with everything that I tell you, you need to go do your own due diligence. That means for the people listening, that means go do your own research on anything before you put your money into it. I don't care if your financial advisor or your mother tells you that. Go do your own research.
Absolutely.
Because you're gonna have to eat that loss if and when it shows up. It's on you.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So that's my thing. Do your own research and quit listening to every Joe Blow on TikTok, Instagram. They got the latest and the greatest money making scheme.
Yeah, yeah. And with this AI thing, it's not helping. it's not helping with
Correct.
this AI thing, okay? And you can't, it's like the president said one time. Don't believe what you see or what you hear. Believe me. That's what he said. He said, don't believe what these people telling you. Don't believe what you see. Believe me. And I hate to say it, but I think I agree with the president on that one. You need to start checking stuff out. Okay, brother, I think we'll go ahead and call this episode to a close. Any last parting words? Any thoughts?
No, we appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to us. Just keep listening. Hopefully, we're educating you, giving you, some form of entertainment value on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for listening.
And I agree with everything the brother said. We would really like to hear from you though. We are live streaming these sessions. Truthfully, we're not doing a whole lot of marketing, so we don't have a marketing budget, so it's just word of mouth. But what we would like to do is, share with some of your family and friends. At least you can get the recorded version of this podcast. Hopefully, you'll find it interesting and informative, like Jackie had said. Also, give us some feedback. We've got a website on Facebook, or not a website, but we've got a web page on Facebook. It's DNA Hardwired, common sense turned upside down. That's DNA Hardwired, common sense turned upside down. Go to that Facebook page, please. Leave us a little bit of feedback. Okay, this is Pop and Jackie signing off.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Think it through, people.